We've got some breaking news out of the NFL where the Lions are signing Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension. Our NFL insider Jonathan Jones confirming that the deal includes $170 million in guaranteed money and will make him the highest paid player in franchise history. Goff led the Lions to the NFC Championship game last season for the first time since 1991, getting a look at the highest paid QBs by AAV. Jared Goff, that comes out to $53 million a year, puts him above Justin Herbert and just behind Joe Burrow, still topping the list in terms of AAV at $55 million. And let's welcome in two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden and our lead NFL insider Jonathan Jones to talk about this news. Gentlemen, the Lions signing Jared Goff to that 4-year, $212 million extension. $170 million of that is guaranteed. The highest paid Lion in franchise history. JJ, I will direct this question towards you. What more can you tell us about this deal and how it all went down?
Yeah, so this is something that the Lions and Jared Goff and his representation have been working toward for some time. I can tell you that last offseason, Jared Goff wanted that contract extension. He was coming off that Pro Bowl season with the Lions in 2022, but they said, we're just going to wait. And whether they wanted to wait to see if he was going to replicate that success, or whether that was just a good business practice for the Lions, well, the price went up for the Lions for waiting there. We remember, of course, that they drafted Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. Jared Goff goes on to have one of the best seasons that a quarterback has had for the Lions. Certainly their success as a team getting to the NFC title game, of course, blowing the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. But what he was able to do and the contract he was able to work his way into, one of the best in the NFL. I was told back in January that Jared Goff wouldn't necessarily care so much about resetting the quarterback market. And that was, with Joe Burrow being there at $55 million per year. But in so many of these contracts, Jacqueline, what you want to look at is what is the money in the next 3 or 4 years? And what he actually was able to do is he overcame Patrick Mahomes, who, when they the Chiefs restructured Patrick Mahomes' deal, he got $210.6 million over the span of 4 years. That was the most in NFL history at the time. Now, with new money, the 4 years of new money on this Jared Goff deal, it eclipses the Patrick Mahomes deal from the start of the season at $212, and then, of course, getting that $170 million. So a big win for Jared Goff, obviously a big win for the Detroit Lions and their immediate future with Goff at quarterback.
Yeah, he is now the highest paid Lion in franchise history. He's going to be there through the 2028 season. So, B-Mac, I'll go to you next. What was your initial reaction when you hear this news and you think about Jared Goff and his story and the trade and how all of that went down, and now he is the highest paid Lion in franchise history?
Well deserved. Well deserved. JJ talked about, the development we've all witnessed with Jared Goff since becoming a Detroit Lions. He has improved individually speaking. And then, of course, with him at the quarterback spot, the team has improved dramatically as well. They went from being a very, very below average, inconsistent team to one of the best teams in the NFC. And that has a lot to do with the job that Jared Goff has done in quarterbacking this team. I mean, the last 2 seasons there in Detroit, he's thrown for 59 touchdowns. He had a great completion percentage, almost 70% of his passes. You look at what he's done in critical moments, living up to the billing. This is a team that has their eyes set on a bigger prize, which is competing for a championship. They were very, very close a year ago, but you better believe, looking at the additions they made via the draft, via free agency, and just locking up some of their big-time contributors on the offensive side. St. Brown got a new deal. Penei Sewell got a new deal. And, of course, today, Jared Goff getting a new deal. It's like their big 3 for their offense, all solidified moving forward. When you talk about this franchise, they're in a good spot. And Jared Goff, you got to remember also, he won't turn 30 until mid-October. So he still has a lot of quality years left in the tank when you look at what he has done and what he will do moving forward in the Detroit Lions uniform.
B-Mac, you mentioned this is a team that has their eyes on a championship. Their big 3, if you will, get paid. Goff, the improvements at the quarterback position, trickling down to the improvements on the offense in general. We mentioned that appearance in the NFC Championship, where really the first half of that game, we thought this team was going to win. B-Mac, what is your expectations for this Lions team with all of that in mind, looking ahead to this upcoming season?
Well, Jacqueline, JJ, I foresee Detroit Granted, being healthy, getting right back to where they were a year ago. NFC Championship game. And the reason why I feel that way is because I believe Jared Goff is the guy that we've watched over the last 2 years. I don't see him dropping off anytime soon. I love how this roster has been assembled. Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job. I think Brad Holmes is one of the best GMs in the National Football League. Looking at what he's done from start to where he currently sits and putting together a well-established team that do things the right way. So me personally, JJ, I think this is a team, I understand the NFC North will be a little more competitive from top to bottom, but when it comes to talent and just knowing their style of play led by Jared Goff, I believe this is a team that can get right back to the NFC Championship game and find a way to seal the deal instead of allowing one to slip through their fingers, because this is a talented team. The only team that I would say probably would be more talented than what I see right now with Detroit is probably the San Francisco 49ers. And if that's the case, they're in pretty good company when you talk about what San Francisco has from top to bottom with their roster.
Yeah, and I believe the Lions are 13-1 or 14-1 at this point to win the Super Bowl. JJ, I want to talk about the rest of the quarterbacks that are out there waiting for a deal. Of course, Tua is a name that has been thrown around, but what more can you tell us about who's next in line for a big payday?
So right now, you would look first at the guy who would make more money than anyone else. It would be Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys, someone who surely would be looking to top Joe Burrow's number of $55 million in average annual value. Dak would immediately shoot to the top of the list, and Jared Goff's deal would not really impact Dak Prescott in any way whatsoever. Jared Goff's deal could impact a Trevor Lawrence, who Trent Baalke and the Jaguars have been very clear and upfront that they hope to sign him to an extension. They expect to sign him to an extension this summer. And so that's one that we will certainly keep our eye on, one that should break the $50 million per year mark. And then you have Tua as well, who certainly wants a new contract, who could very well break that $50 million per year mark, depending upon the appetite of the Miami Dolphins. So certainly those three are the ones that we're looking for. But this, of course, Jared Goff's deal, one that we were anticipating and one that shouldn't necessarily impact Dak Prescott if he and the Cowboys can actually reach a deal. There's many around the league that believe that Dak Prescott is ultimately going to become an unrestricted free agent come next March, which is almost unheard of for a quarterback of his caliber in today's NFL, and really doesn't happen but every 5, 6, 7 years. If it does happen, and then those other two, a Trevor Lawrence and a Tua, they will certainly, their representation certainly looking very closely at this Jared Goff deal, hoping to get somewhere close to it.
Jonathan Jones, Bryant McFadden joining us here on HQ as we are following that breaking news out of the NFL with the Lions giving Jared Goff a 4-year, $212 million extension. Getting a look at the odds to win the NFC. The Lions, they have the second best odds at plus 600, only behind the San Francisco 49ers.